CLBs are there. So we should know one CLB, then we can understand how many CLBs we cover. So it's a CLB is a memory, block RAM is a memory. Okay, everything is a memory. Buffer is a memory. Okay, and so you can see here the initial stage you have a P4 source. So this is a P4. That is also a memory. P4s are, it can save data, right? So it can store something. That's in first one. Block RAMs, it can store your image, or you can store any files, the CSV files it can store, COE files it can store. So it's again a storage element, VRAMs. And so you have a VRAMs and CLB. CLB is completely a memory. Okay. So I will teach you what is the CLB, configurable logic block. It's a memory. Think about it. So FPGA, if I see in my perspective, FPGA is a memory unit. It's a completely a memory unit where I write a program, it starts it. Okay. So you can see there is one more section called MGT. That is multi-gigabit transceiver. There are some boards which will have a multi-gigabit transceiver slot. So MGT, you can see only few boards will have this kind of slot. Multi-gigabit transceiver slot. Okay. Few boards will have a support for multi-gigabit transceivers. The next we will go for CLBs. I told you CLBs will have 3 lakh, 5 lakh CLBs. Some Vertex boards will have 11 lakh CLBs. What is this CLB? Okay. So this is a block. So I am zooming in that area. So CLB. So if I go inside a CLB, you can see there is a switch matrix and 2 slices. Please note down. So first time you are learning means you can note down. Okay. There will be one CLB consisting of 2 slices. Somebody will ask you how many is available actually in a single slice. In a single CLB you have 2 slices. Okay.
This side we have gates, 9 gates or gates.
Not gates actually. So it's an architecture. It will consisting of a lookup table. Okay. Lookup tables. See, once you have a CLB consisting of 2 slices. Okay. We will go through what is the slice now. Okay. You are getting inside a CLB consisting of 2 slices. Okay. 2 slices. What are the type? 2 types of slices are there. One is slice L and another is slice M. So slice M is nothing but a memory. I told you the CLB is nothing but a memory. Again in that one section is again a memory unit. So slice M means it's a memory unit. So which can do a logic as well as memory operations it can implement. If you write a program for a memory, how you can write a program for a memory? You write first in first out logics, CISO, PPO, okay, parallel serial out, that kind of programs if you implement, you can able to see this kind of architecture. So it can fetch and once the program is done, I will show you that how it gets connected, how it is fetching, which unit it is fetching, and we can view everything. In the GUI you can see what are the area from where to where it is connected, everything it will be visible. Okay. So one section is slice M, it's a memory unit, okay, and slice L, it can do the logic as well as arithmetic operations only, it will not do other operations. Okay. It's a logic unit, not a memory unit. So one section is a memory and logic. So one CLB consisting of either it can fetch you logic or logic with memory. So you write a program for some logic and some memory you have instantiated. So definitely it will take a CLB which consisting of LM, right? Logic and memory. It will fetch you. If you see in the report, CLB, LM it will fetch. Logic and memory. So it can consist logic and memory which will consist in a one CLB. That kind of CLB it will fetch, right? So that is about it. So we'll see what is inside a slice, right? So one CLB consisting of 2 slices. What is inside a slice? So it's an architecture. This is the architecture of a slice. So it's very simple. It looks very complex, right? It's very simple. See, the first section you have 4 LUTs, lookup tables. Okay. Lookup tables. So again a storage element. So write a program, it gets stored in the lookup table. Okay. So you have 4 lookup tables followed by a carry chain. This we call it as the red color markation is called as a carry chain, and then multiplexers, and then a flip flop, and then flip flop or latch. So I'll show you. The first section is lookup tables. What is a lookup table inputs? How many inputs it can handle? It's a each lookup will have a 6 input. So 4 6-input lookup tables are there. Each lookup table is of 6-bit input. Okay. So you write a program for a counter. Okay. So what is the counter? It's a 3 down to 0. It's a 4-bit count. So how many LUTs it will fetch? You can predict right now only. So while writing
digital circuit for the UG point of view.
Yes.
Yes. They can verify through the.
yes, 100%.
How they can see the visual.
Sir, in the Vivada everything is there. Sir. I will show you the procedure. In the hands-on I can see everything.
Mostly by any time they have.
No need to touch
Digital
it.
and visualize.
That is where they learn some basic level. So now we are going to take them to the next level, advanced level. So where you can program it, so they can visualize what is the power, how they connected between this logical resource, what is fetched, either it is taking a DSP or a memory from which IO bank it is fetching the data, how the logic has implemented.
UG will be like starting step, but they are doing a digital circuit.
Yes. They can try, sir. They can try. Parallelly in the session, I will tell them to implement different logics by different people. So we can try to simulate and we will see the output. Okay. So we can see the utilizations and in the GUI you can see the same block diagram. Okay. I'll show you exactly the same block diagram. And the chip, whatever is there, they are showing in the device. So that we call it as a device. After the implementation, we can see the device. And device utilization, we can see how it is connected also. We can see. Okay. See, this is about the units. So first is lookup table, carry chain, mux, flip flop, and flip flop or latch. This is about the sections. I will go through one after the other. See here, the lookup tables. What they have written here? Lookup table slash RAM slash SR. What does it mean? It means again it's a storage element, right? So it's a 6-input lookup table. It's a storage element. So I can call it as a shift register, or you can call it as a RAM. Okay. And then followed by a mux, right? So you have a port which is in a single slice. So it is being cascaded. So it is connected to the mux. Okay. Multiplex. And again this feed into the flip flops. Again the flip flop is again a D type. D flip flop. What is a D flip flop? What's the use of D flip flop? Again it's a storage element. Right? So completely you look it as a storage element. So one slice consisting of how many LUTs? No. It's a 4 LUT, each will be of 6. Okay. You have 4 LUTs, each will be of 6. In a slice, you have 4 LUTs. How many flip flops are there? The next section you see, counting 4 flip flops are there. And next section, what is the? Here you can see. Now, how many in a slice, in a single slice? How many LUTs are there? Lookup tables. 4 lookup tables. How many flip flops? 4. There is one more section is there, that is it can act like a flip flop or latch. So the flip flop means I am talking about only D flip flop and they are fixed to that. Xilinx develops only the D flip flop. It's very simple, right? You know the logic, right? D flip flop, you know the logic. What is the logic?
Electronic side.
Yes, no problem. Okay. The flip flop, whatever you give the data, right? So it can store the data. If you give 0, 0 will. 1 means 1. It's storing it, right? Whatever you pass, the data will be stored. It stores 1-bit data, either a 0 or 1. If it is a 4 flip flops, 4-bit data it can store. 1 0 1 0. If you store it, again in the output section 1 0 1 0. It can give you that. So it's a storage. And like that. So one slice you have this much. What about the 1 CLB? How much it is? Now you tell me what is the 1 CLB? How many LUTs are there? 1 CLB. Now 8. How many flip flops are there? 8. How many latches are there? Latch. 8. So there is a difference between a flip flop and a latch. Both are D type. Okay. What is the difference between a flip flop and latch? This is a very basic concept actually. If you go and ask about any MTech in VLSI guy or any VLSI core electronics guy if you ask. Sometimes they will also confuse. D flip-flop and D latch works similar, but there is a slight difference. Both are storage elements, both are the same. So you can see that flip-flop type is a D flip. You saw the big architecture, right? So the connectivity and all, no need to worry because it's all unconnected. That's why I'm not talking about the connectivity. Once you program, then only it gets connected. So only thing is you need to know what are the resources available, and that is more sufficient. Once you program it, you can see, you can correlate. Or before writing the code only, I can tell this many things only it will fetch from my device. So you can have a controllability, right? And you can have an option to cross probe it. So why this is going in a wrong direction? Why it is connected to some other port? Like that you can trace it back. So if it is going in the wrong direction, you can rewrite or modify the code and again catch it. So all things are possible. Okay. So all the flip-flop is of D type, and D is the input, Q is the output. Okay. It's a flip-flop. Okay. It can store you. If you give 1, it will give you the 1 0. It will give you 0. And there will be a clock, because clock is a point where it can trigger the D flip-flop or anything in the sequential circuits. So we use a clock for synchronization. Okay. So once a clock, every passage of clock, we are going to execute it. Okay. Clock is the main point. Okay, for the trigger. Okay. So there is some chip enable and control sets and resets will be added to the display. So if you disable it also, no problem. So that is not a main thing. So D flip-flop, simple operations. So and there is, I told you, see control sets, because all 4 are connected. Because why? It's all in a single slice. Okay. All are connected, set and reset. That is a control signal which is connected. Chip enable, clock enable, all these things are each, all 4 are in a single slice only. And that slice is inside a CLB. Right. So that it's all connected. And we will talk about a slice M. So we will talk about a slice L, right? Slice L. M I am talking. So M is made up of a distributed cell. Okay. So this memory is actually completely, it's a memory unit. Okay, you can configure the memory. Okay. So using the software. So you can't configure manually, right? So there is no option to configure on the board also. Through the software you can able to configure. There is a section called IP catalog section where you can configure. Anything on the board you want to control, there is an IP catalog section where through IP catalog you can control. And you can have an option to select what is a memory, single port you want, dual port, simple dual port or quad port. Which port of thing you want you can configure. Okay. So what is a simple port? It can be a 1 LUT cascaded with the configuration 256 across 1 kind of RAM it will allow. Or if you want a dual port, what it will do? 1 read write plus 1 additional read operation it can do. Okay. If it is a simple dual port, 1 read, 1 write operation. Okay. Quad port, 1 read write plus 3 successive reads it can do. So that is a configuration of the memory. So that option is available in the software. So nothing to do with the hardware. So you can configure it, slice it, and you can go. So it's a memory element. So how it is built, how this, so I told you using software you can configure it. How it is built, it is again a shift register. If I talk a memory, the memory has to be done with something, right? So it should be using a SRAM. In the chip and all, they will use memory unit as a SRAM for read and write operation they will build. Okay, the 5T SRAM, 60 SRAM, T means transistor. Okay, 3 transistor based memory unit you can download. 5 transistor based SRAM you can download. Like that. So here the Xilinx slice M logic, the memory unit is being made by a 32-bit shift register. You know shift register operation? What is the shift register operation? It will shift the bits. So here we are talking about only 0 and 1. Okay, logic 0 means 0, 1 means 0. Logic 0, logic 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Only a single bit patterns only 2 bits. Okay, if it is 32 bit, how it will be a memory unit? So 32 bits it keeps on shifting, right? So till that 32 bit it will eject out. So still it is in the buffer space. So in that way, 32 bit shift register can store the memory. So your program is 16 bit. Okay. So your slice M is a 32 bit. So what happens? your data is stored in the shift register only, it is not going out there. Okay, and it is made up of shift registers, synchronous repos, and a conference movement. Altogether, the slice is big now. And DSP. So now you are developing some equation, mathematical equation. You are writing it in the Verilog or VSP. Okay. So what is this the DSP can do? So no need to worry about the architecture much. So what this DSP can do? It can handle a 48-bit addition. Okay. 48-bit subtraction accumulation. Got it? So 48-bit means it will be. So if you write a 1-bit addition, A plus B equals C. In the Verilog code, you write the simple code. And if you ask me, you show me the DSP, I can't show. Right? So minimum what is that? 48-bit. Then only tool will understand. Okay, LUTs is not sufficient. CLBs are not sufficient. CLBs means how many CLBs we request? Can you tell? Or LUTs means how many LUTs are required to implement a 48-bit addition? Just a mathematics. See, if 48-bit total count is 48-bit ports or 48-bit pins are there. So to implement the 48-bit, how many LUTs are required? What is the LUT input size? 6. So I have 48-bit. How many LUTs are required? 8 LUTs are required. So 8 LUTs means how many CLB? 1 CLB. So I need to use 1 CLB. Or 48-bit plus 1 port you declare A, B, C. So 48, 48, 48. This is 3 LUTs, 3 CLBs are required. Right? So using the 3 CLBs, I can use 1 DSP. Okay. So 1 CLB is 1 CLB 8 LUTs. It multiplies. No? Inside a slice is there, slice inside we are talking. So multiply 2, right? It's all available, so it's all documentation is available in the website. No need to worry about it. Just I want to tell you mathematically how it can fetch. So whatever the tool shows, whatever you are writing in the book should match, right? So if it is, you are expecting, you are writing the code and you can predict how much resource it can replace. So this is all optimization. If you have some dead code, so you should not write a dead code at all. This is the hardware platform. You should not write simply, it's not a simulator, actually it is going in the hardware. Okay. So in the C program, just an online compiler of simulators. So it can show you can write the n number of codes which is not compiled itself. Some of the code sections, it cannot compile also. So if else statements, most of the times it will not go to the else statement. It's all a dead code. So you should not do such kind of things. So we don't want it. We should require a synthesizable RTL code. Okay, and you have to verify through the multiple test vectors. Okay, so all things are done perfect, then you can deploy on the FPGA system. Otherwise, it's all waste, right? Resources you are using waste. So it can handle the 48-bit addition, subtraction, accumulation, 48-bit logic operations. Means logic means AND gate, OR gate, bitwise logic gate, bitwise AND gate, bitwise OR gate, XOR gates. That are the logic operations. It can handle a 48-bit pipeline registers for high-speed pattern detectors. All these things you can see here. It is a addition, subtraction, or logical operations. There is a unit called pattern detection. So this is the pattern detector, and some of the signals is also available. So if you want to working on some mathematical equations and it is fetching some DSP architecture, if you want to optimize, then you need to learn this one. And if you are working with memory, you learn more on memory. No, I am working with normally a logic. To try to implement a logic, see the resources, and if it is taking 20,000 logic cells, try to optimize it to 15,000 or 10,000. So if you reduce the area, it will reduce the power. And both are reduced, obviously your speed definitely it has, right? So gate delay, net delay, all these things will be introduced. So that gets automatically reduced. So all depend on your code. Okay. The tool will do at certain extent. Okay. Tool will help you at 60-70%. The rest 20% the margin is there. That you need to work actually. You need to optimize your code. So this is how from electrical resource from external world, from these ports, how it gets implemented back to the chip, right? So you have electrical source, there is a transmission line, LVDS transmission line, there you have given the inputs as a voltage, right? So some you can give as ground as 0 volts and high as some 2 volts. So in between there is a LVDS transmission line. So this can tell you what is the threshold voltage, VTH. So with that it can define you whether you are giving as a logic 0 or logic 1, because the board has to understand logic 0, logic 1 pattern. Right? So that will be done through a logic, I address and post address logic. So it's already there, so no need to worry. You can feed directly. There are ports. So I will tell you about the board architecture. So we'll discuss about that. So you have ports here. These are called peripheral modules, PMODs. So through these ports we can feed the data. You can give an analog data, or you can give some voltage and take that, okay, and process it in the FPGA. But lesser than 3 volts, fine enough. You can feed the data. Okay. So here there is a 12 pin connection. Okay. 12 ports are there. Each PMOD, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 PMODs are there in this board. So here also the board will have 5 PMODs. So PMODs, how we can connect? You can directly plug into the digital PMODs. Okay. So there is a sensor you can directly plug in, or anything you have PMODs. You know, you have any PMODs? So this board you have directly a slot called MIP slot. So where you will connect a camera here. So you can take the data. Data is your source, right? Source is coming and directly plugging into this board. And then processing is done in the FPGA. And then the output is the HDMI output. So there is a slot where HDMI output. So in the FPGAs there is a input and output sections. This is female. Male means that is a digital PMOS. So
So you are using the keyboard.
no problem. We can show after. In the afternoon section, we can bring one PMOS. See, so through the PMODs, we can able to connect the sensors. Okay. See, the board has some of the peripherals. Okay. For example, the board will consisting of VGA, video graphics, so image processing applications. Okay, we have a slots called HDMI in and HDMI out. Okay, so you can do the video processing applications. There is an audio codec chips are available, so you can do the audio processing. Okay, and the memory is already there in the chip in terms of block RAM, in terms of logic cells. Okay, in terms of DSP slice, P4s already there in the chip. What is this audio? Yeah, you have line of mic.
So they can find the spectrum.
They can feed the audio, okay, and they can process it by like the tuning and all you can do, and then you can listen or playback. Playback port is where you can listen.
So is it flash?
You can configure through the push button. You can control it. Right? Some control signals you can push button.
And if you want to filter the audio,
Do it in the FPGA only.
what if
Filtering and all will be done in FPGA section. Okay. Audio is coming.
noise filter those things?
Yes. Lining through lining you can feed the data, audio data. Okay, processing is done in FPGA. Anything, any application. So here video processing if I do, I will feed the data through HDMI in. Okay, HDMI in is my video data. So data in is coming. So what I will do, I will first receive the data. So in the program also or in the IPA section, first I will receive the data. So that video stream, the live video stream I will capture. Okay. Once I capture, I can have to store it in the direct memory access. DMA is there. DMA. So through DMA I can store it, or I can on a fly I can program it. So I don't want to store because some high-end boards and all no need to store also. So through the DMA controller I can control it, I can process and throw it to the output port section. That is HDMI output. So on a fly data is receiving, processing, output. All the things which will be done in a picosecond.
So only single input is there. If two audio we want to mix up.
Not only single.
Single.
Video also you have single. So you have high range and high performance boards are available. So normally high range boards are this Artix, mostly Kintex, and most of the high range boards are in Vertex. High performance you can see only in high performance in Kintex and Vertex and Vertex. Okay. High range and high performance. High range means you can get normally a low cost board. Artix will have this kind of things. All boards will have a high range. Mostly some of them will have high range. But high performance boards you can see only in Kintex and Vertex. High performance you can have a high speed data transmissions or transceiver slots to perform. The performance level is more. Vertex and Kintex. And the memory, the BRAMs, what I have shown, block memory. What's BRAM? I told you some 36 BRAMs are there. The number only we showed, right? Each BRAM is of size is 36 kilobits. It can handle one BRAM can handle 36 kilobits. Because we write in bits only, right? Program is in terms of bits only. 7 down to 0 means 8 bits you can call, or you can call it as a byte. In C program we call it as a byte. Here we will call it as 7 down to 0 means it's a bits only, 8 bits only. Okay. So here 36 kilobits it can store in a single VRAM. Okay. 36 kilobits is one VRAM. So similar kind of things depend upon the board. There may be 300 or there may be 500, which is spreaded in the chip. Okay. So block RAMs are available. It's on chip and off chip is there. Okay, that you can see here. There is a off chip is also available. So what is this off chip? You can see, right, there is a memory chips. Okay, this is called DDR memory. Okay, DDR memory is also there. This is off chip. Off chip memory is also there. So if you see on the lower boards or higher boards, 512 MB or 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, off chip memory is there.
Off chip or normal, sir? Off chip or normal,
Until and unless power is on,
All
it will
of
stay flashing kind of thing. No storage actually. Only thing you can store it in the SD card that you can boot, and all the boards latest boards.
all functions, so what it is going to support, that will be like non-volatile. Because this board will perform tasks. So all those things.
So we are developing all these things and we are generating a lost file called a bitstream file. Okay, bit file. Okay, only that bit file will consist in the information.
Yeah. Like so normally like on what is called processor side, like some particular memory they are reserved for
Yes.
the functions.
Yes.
And some memory like available to the users.
Yes.
So of course there is
It's
some
not like
bias.
this. It's not like this. The processor will have a user space and some is used by the processor alone. It will not allow you to access it. But here you can access any memory, off chip or on chip memories you can utilize. Only the field programmable data, the FPGAs or Zincs, SOCs, until and unless power is on. Okay, you can program the binary data and it deploys on the board and it will execute the respective application.
switch off the power, it will go.
Switch on the power and it will go again back to the normal state. So it gets unconnected, power is off, all the things are erased.
So getting the light if you want to use for the some applications, suddenly power off, then
Which one?
no, let's like we flash some code.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is in the application.
Yes.
Suddenly power off.
Yes.
Then
So the file is already there. With your
File
local
is-
machine is also there.
no, on the board there is no file in that case.
On the board there is no file. So there is an option called SD card. So through SD card you can go. So there is a SD card slot here.
But
Copy that file and put it in SD card. Change the jumper mode. There is a jumper modes. The one is
But this MQSS side I have seen like extra battery is there on the board. Bigger battery is there. I see there.
no batteries.
Is there actually one back side of that battery for the clock?
No, that is not a battery.
No, mostly for backup. There should be power. Otherwise, why that much cost is there?
No, so that is actually a.
This one.
Yeah, that's right. I think this or some other hardware, but I think that's the one.
Actually, our the basic project it is. Okay, one to generate the bit stream. So power on is nothing will be active. Okay, just it will on the power on and it will be in the idle state. Chip is nothing to happen. Okay, power supply is going for all the peripherals, all this. Chip is in idle mode. Okay, once you deploy the bit stream, then only it takes.
One battery is not there.
No.
Is not right.